everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to share with you my keep, read, and unhaul. I haven't done one of these for a couple months. I skipped last month, but if you haven't seen one of these before, haul this year, I've been looking back at books I bought 2 years ago and kind of having you guys vote on books that you think I should keep to read later, what I should read this month or get rid of, and what I should unhaul. And part of the reason I skipped last month is because I didn't record much last month. That month didn't work out for me. And also I was trying to catch up on some of the ones that I was supposed to read that you guys had voted on me to read. And then because of COVID and stress and anxiety and all that stuff, I had just skipped reading. And so I did catch up on a few of them. I still have a couple that I need to still read. I'm kind of giving myself a little more leeway about not getting rid of them yet, giving myself a couple months chance to read them before I decide to get rid of them. But definitely if I don't read the ones you voted for by the end of this year, that's it, I'm getting rid of them. But I am trying to be a little more gracious with myself. And so since I didn't do this in July, it turns out that 2 years ago, I bought a lot of books in July and August, and I've combined those lists, and it was just too many to like do all the categories. So I had like 30 books on that list that I hadn't read yet. And so I narrowed it down to 20, and I'll have one thing to vote for in the keep, 3 for the read. So that you'll be voting on 3 different books that you want me to read, and then 1 group of unhaul books. So hopefully that won't be too overwhelming for me. I think the way I have it laid out, you'll see it shouldn't be too hard. So the first one is, which of these books do you want me to keep? And I have 3 books here, and all of them are either popular books that I've heard a lot of people talk about, or classics. So they're ones that I feel like I should read, but I just have not much interest in. So since a lot of these are popular and well-known, let me know which one you think I actually should keep and read sometime. So the first one is a young adult book that I just heard a lot about on BookTube, and that is Between Shades of Grey by Readathon. And this author is just one that I hear about all the time, but she writes historical fiction, and for some reason historical fiction is one of those categories that I always think I'm gonna like, but then I never reach for it to actually read it. So if you want to vote for this one for me to keep. Another one which is very popular is Room by Emma Donoghue, and this is a thriller, and this became a movie for sure, and a lot of people have read it, a lot of people like it, but I also know that some people don't like it because it's told from the perspective of a little kid, I don't remember, 5-year-old kid, and I don't know, that didn't seem too appealing to me, but at the same time, it's a really popular thriller, so I probably should read it, so you can vote for that if you want me to keep it. And the last one is a classic, it's To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I picked this up at a library sale, so I wasn't like paying a lot of money for it or anything, and Virginia Woolf is just a famous person that I feel like I should read from. But then the more I hear about her, the more I hear that she writes a lot of like stream of consciousness, which I just know is not my style of book for me to read, even if it is a classic. So I don't know if this book is actually in that style. So yeah, I don't know which of these I should keep. I kind of feel like I probably will get rid of the other 2 books that are not voted on, or I might at least put them in try a chapter, before I get rid of them. But yeah, so let me know which of these 3, and they're all the same color, I just noticed. So yeah, which of these 3 popular books do you want me to keep? And now for the read ones, the ones you vote for me to read this coming month in August, I separated them in 3 categories. I did them by age group. So I have a group of middle grade books, young adult books, and adult. And I figured that'll make it easy on me because obviously the middle grade should be easy to finish, especially since I have a middle grade readathon, plugging my readathon. So if you want to participate in middle grade magic, I'll put the announcement down below. So I'll definitely get to read a lot of middle grade in August, so that should be an easy one. The young adult, all of these seem like they're popular books, so I think whatever you pick, I probably should enjoy it. And then yeah, the adult books might take me a little bit longer, but I'm an adult, I can handle it, right? All right, so first for the middle grade books, the first one is a classic that a lot of people had to read in school. I think I had to read this when I was in school, and this is Number the Stars by Lois Lowry, and I believe this takes place during World War II. Yeah, I believe it is following a Jewish girl who, I don't know if she's hiding from the Nazis. I don't remember. I do remember that I read this as a kid. It's incredibly short, so if you vote for it, I shouldn't have a problem reading it. It won the Newbery Medal, like, I should read this again as an adult and find out if it's something for my kids to read someday. Another one is a lesser known middle grade, The Star of Kazan by Eva Ibbotson. And I got this because I saw a friend of mine reviewing this, and she talked about it being a found family. I don't know if she's actually been adopted or if she is just living with another family, but that kind of thing, found family or adoption, I always love, and especially in middle grade, I'm trying to collect books like that have positive, a positive view of adoption for my kids to read someday. So that's one that you can have me read. I think I just never picked it up because it's big, but I'm like, it's middle grade. I shouldn't be worried about the size. This is another one, The Ocean Within by V.M. Caldwell. I picked up because it is about a girl who is in foster care. And so, like, once again, I just thought that would be something I might want to read to prepare for my kids someday. So that's all I know about it. She's living with her foster family, and I think they go on a vacation, so she's getting to know them and everything. And then the last one is called Red Leaves by Sita Brahmachari. Sorry if I did not do that name well. And I thought this one sounded really interesting. This is also a lesser known middle grade book, but it is following 3 different kids, I think, and one of them is a foster child. So once again, all of these I bought because they were about you can't see, well, foster care or adoption, and I didn't read them. Part of that is that I'm always worried that the depiction of foster care or adoption will be really bad in a book, and so sometimes I put it off. But I really hope that in these middle grade novels that they will be good and they will be something that my kids could read. So let me know which middle grade novel you want me to read next month, and I will read it during Middle Grade Magic the first couple weeks of August. And then in terms of YA novels, the first one is a historical fiction. I said earlier, I just have trouble picking up historical fiction. And this one's called Codename Verity by Elizabeth Thween. And I'd heard this talked about on somebody's booktube channel a couple years ago, and it sounded really interesting. Once again, historical fiction sounds interesting, but I never pick it up. And this one takes place during World War II, and a woman who her plane crashes over enemy lines. And the next one is a popular one on here, which is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. And I believe this is about twins. And I did read the first chapter of this in a try chapter, and it seemed interesting, but it also seemed like it would have a lot of hard-hitting issues and be like a tough one to read. And that's why I've avoided picking it up. But I hear so many people praising this book and saying it's so good. So yeah, twins, I think, that have a falling out, and we're hearing from them in the past before when they were really close, and then in the future when they're no longer talking to each other. And then I don't know if this is actually a YA novel or a new adult or whatever, but I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and I feel like horrible that I still have not read this, even though I've owned it for 2 years, because it was such a popular book for that year. What was that, 2018? It was talked about all the time. I believe it's about a girl who is at college and her kind of coming into her own and like learning about a radio station or something like that. Isn't it sad that it's such a popular book and I still don't really know what it's about? But yeah, I just haven't picked it up. And then the last one is Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. And I really like Neil Shusterman's writing a lot, but I've heard this is a lot different than his other books because it's not really fully fantasy. It takes place a lot in real life, but then has some fantastical elements in it. And I believe it deals with mental health. So I just haven't picked that one up because I've been kind of reading his more fantasy, speculative fiction books. So those are the 4 YA novels. Let me know which one of those you want me to read. Several of those are pretty popular. And then in terms of the adult books, so I have 2 science fiction books that I've been wanting to read for this entire 2 years. I've almost picked them up several times, so I have no idea why I have not read them yet. And the first one is All Our Wrong Todays by Elon Mostai. And this is, I think, time traveling or alternate realities. I think that's what it is. So this man ends up going to an alternate reality, and he's desperate to fix his mistakes and get back to his reality. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about this from the people that have read it on BookTube. And then I have Pines by Blake Crouch. Blake Crouch wrote Dark Matter, Recursion, and this is one of his earlier trilogies. And I bought the first book thinking I would try it before I read the rest of the trilogy, and I still haven't picked it up, even though I keep hearing that this is a really entertaining novel. And then I have When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. And I know why I haven't picked this up is because when I read one of Anna Marie McLemore's books, Wild Beauty, several months ago, I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to. So I think I've just kind of been like avoiding picking up their other books because I'm worried that maybe they aren't the author for me. But you know, one book does not decide whether an author is a favorite or not. So I should give their books another try. So that's one to vote for. Or I have A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. This is an incredibly popular book. Bachman's a very popular author. And the reason I put this off is because I have read one novel of Bachman and like three of his short stories or novellas now. And I have not really loved any of them. Like, I've liked them okay, but I haven't loved them. Like, I feel like so many other people have fallen in love with his writing. And I'm just wondering if he's not the author for me. But the novel I read was one of his least loved novels, the one my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. So I shouldn't judge his novels based on that one book. And, you know, novellas are a lot different than novels. So I should pick this up because this is probably his most popular one. Maybe Beartown would be tied, but I know everybody like loves this book. So I should give it a try. So those are the adult books. Let me know which one of those you want me to read. And then last, I have the books that my unhaul, and I'm probably gonna unhaul more than one of these, but this one you're voting on which one you want me to unhaul. So which one do you want me to get rid of? The first one is an adult novel called Element by Fiona Mosley, and this one this is a Man Booker Prize finalist in 2017, and I've heard good things about it, and I started reading it. So I got 66 pages in, and I was just kind of bored, and I don't know, sometimes high literary fiction or whatever just doesn't compel me, and I wasn't pulled in at the beginning of this novel, and I'm sure it has great literary merit, but it just didn't seem appealing to me at the time. I can't even remember what it was about. Isn't that sad? I think it was a family that kind of like does their own thing, like is living in the woods and survivalist type of family, which would be probably pretty apt to read right now. So let me know in the comments if you've read this and you think it's worthwhile, or you can vote for me to get rid of it. Either one, I don't really care. And then the next is another historical fiction, because I only put one in here. Good, because I was gonna put more than one for historical fiction, but I was like, I should give them a try. But yeah, I just never picked them up, so that's why I put this in here. This is a World War II novel about a woman who, I think she becomes a spy for the Nazis. Like, not for the, she spies on the Nazis, so pretends to be on their side. You know what I mean. So yeah, and I believe it is young adult. And then I have a young adult novel that I actually read half of this. So this is When We Collided by Emery Lord, and I took my bookmark out, but I was halfway through this book. I'd read half of the book in like one sitting, and then I just got kind of annoyed with it because it definitely followed that like whole manic pixie dream girl kind of vibe that John Green has, and I'm just kind of over that. I mean, I was never really into that, but I just don't know if I want to read any more books like that. But I've heard also good things about this book in general, so I don't know if I should push past that or if it's time. After I read this, the first time I read the half was over a year ago, so I've had plenty of time to like try to pick it up again, and I haven't, so maybe it's time to get rid of it. You can vote for me to get rid of it if you want. And then I have another young adult romance. This is Signs Point to Yes by Sandy Hall. I heard somebody talk about this, so I picked it up, and since then I've noticed on Goodreads it doesn't have great reviews. I don't even remember what this is about. So yeah, you guys let me know which one of these 4 books I should just go ahead and get rid of, and I might get rid of the 2 books that have the most votes and then try the other and like try a chapter. So yeah, that's it. YouTube got rid of the ability to do polls, like where I could, you know, put the links up above. So I think what I'm going to do is just create a SurveyMonkey or Google form. I don't know which one, I'll have to figure it out, but I'll have it linked down in the description box. Just go down there and vote, and you have until I do my TBR video at the 1st of August to vote. So probably give me a day before August. So by July 30th or whatever that is, vote for which of these books you want me to keep, read, and unhaul, and I will see you next time. Bye.